Hey, welcome to the Razzle Dazzle Show, a podcast where we make connections through the lens of video games and all things pop culture. We're your hosts, Jared and Chaz.
Hello, I'm Chaz.
Please let us know what you think about this episode somewhere on the internet, and be sure to follow us on our socials and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Links to them are down below. And with all that being said, it's Razzle Dazzle time.
I love Monster Hunter, and I'm gonna tell you how I started. I hated Monster Hunter with a burning passion, with a burning soul.
Hold on a second. Hold on. You're like, first of all, I just want everybody to know, I love Monster Hunter, but let me tell you, I hated it when I first started. You're like that grandma in SpongeBob. You're like, chocolate, sweet, sweet chocolate. I've always hated it. Continue, sorry.
But that's literally how it was for me. Like, I don't and my friends wanted to play it, and I just couldn't stand it. Like, who said it was okay for me to take 45 minutes to kill one creature? I just disapproved of all of that.
Yeah, I feel the same way, man. Like, we started. I'm now seeing that we started in similar ways. Like, both of us. I started with the demo that was on the 3DS for whichever game that was. Right, and I felt the exact same way. Like, why is it taking so long just to hunt like one giant iguana? You know, like why is everything so slow? But you know, we'll get to that.
I was like, 45 minutes to hunt this thing. All it does is it keeps flying. It won't shut up, and I gotta constantly heal. Like, does this end? And so I never wanted to play it, and I left it on my Xbox because I didn't delete games back then. And then there's a great thing that everybody hates that got me into this game. Her name is COVID. I don't know if you know of her.
Right.
She's been spending quite some time with us now. I think we're finally phasing out of her.
I would think so.
During COVID, I had nothing to do because like I had like family visiting and everything. So you have to like quarantine before, family visits, quarantine after. But the way I had it, I had like 3 visits at once. So I go from quarantine, visit, quarantine, visit, quarantine. So that was like 3 to 4 months without me being able to work.
Right.
And I got bored, and I finished all the other games I played. And Monster Hunter was just looking at me. It's like, are you gonna reopen me? And I was like, sure. Why not? And I finally started playing it, and I finally progressed enough in the game that hunts only take you so long when you start the game. If I can get people to understand that, just your first couple of days will be dreadful. But how do you tell somebody that you're gonna hate a game you're gonna love later? I promise you'll love this game, but right now I just need you to hate it.
How different is that than like recommending an anime that's so long? They're like, don't worry, it gets good by season 20. Trust me on this, bro.
I feel shade coming towards a certain anime.
Don't worry, by episode 546, that's when it starts to get good. What do you mean?
That's a hook, line, and sinker right there. I don't know if I told you his tweet last year, but Oda said like last year that he's just starting. This is just the introduction, and I think almost every non-fan crashed out.
What are you talking about?
Oda, One Piece.
Oh, yeah. That's exactly what I was throwing shade at. So I'm glad he picked it up.
Yeah, he said it's just the beginning. The first 1,000 episodes is just an introduction to One Piece, and I was like, that's insane.
So which game did you? Was this Monster Hunter World then?
Yes, Monster Hunter World.
Okay.
Not Sunbreak. Sorry, not Iceborne. The expansion, just World itself.
Yeah.
And in this game, for the people who don't know what this game is, you have 14 weapon classes. You choose any of the 14 you can switch at any given moment of the game, but you take your weapon. They send you out into like the wild, and you go hunt something that wants to kill you on a daily basis. And you do so little damage that your numbers might as well be decimals and not whole numbers. Because
honestly,
it feels like you're doing nothing. As you hit it all day long, it looked like it doesn't even limp away when you finally like get it dead. But yes, it was World, and World was so slow and clunky, and just like even sprinting felt like he was walking.
Right.
But that's what I had to get through, and I finally did get through it. And I promise anybody who plays Monster Hunter, anybody, you will like the game. You just gotta hate it first. I will admit, you gotta.
Well, I think this episode is going to be mainly about Monster Hunter Wilds because Chaz and I both like that game. It's my first Monster Hunter game, really, and Chaz will gush about it in a minute. But I think, yeah, this is the set of premise of how we started with the series. And Chaz, about Worlds, about it being slow and clunky and stuff, and I think that's something to bring up about the entirety of the series for however long it's been going on, for like the 20 plus years, right? That this series has always been slow, janky, and clunky, right? There has never been a game up until Wilds where it actually feels smooth and there's it's not taking forever to deal with one monster, and that was always the major turnoff for me when it came to this series, where I'm like, this is not fun for me, especially with a lot of the past games. You have to track, you have to stop, you have to track down the beast with the footprints or the droppings, you have to prepare. There's so much preparation. That still holds true in Wilds, but the level of it's like Wilds has made this series more accessible, right? It is now easier to get into, which I like from a completely casual perspective. Now, I do like it when games have super intricate systems that you can really pour hours upon just studying before you even press start on the game, before you even do your first quest. And that's fine, but to me, that's very overwhelming. There's a lot of stuff in these games that can be very overwhelming to newcomers, and that's why I think this series has been very niche up until Wilds, where they really open up.
I want to agree with you 100%. Wilds was such a great advancement, and the monster, not in the Monster Hunter playstyle, as it the way the game runs naturally, combat. And even just starting the game is much easier than the previous game, because the previous games had a whole tracking system.
Right.
That became tedious and annoying to it. But when you get this game, it puts you in an environment where you already know where the monster is, and you just need to go solve the monster, and the monsters are they're a problem to the ecosystem.
Yeah, I do like that take on it too. As we know, Monster Hunter's never been a game that you should really care about the story. The story always comes last with these games, right? The main attraction is the monsters, and second, how you fight them. The story doesn't really matter. But with Wilds, I like that they did take this type of approach of there's significance to these monsters living within these separate ecosystems, because I feel like that's something Monster Hunter as a series always was intended to be. One of the biggest draws early when Monster Hunter came out in the PS2 was look, there's these giant plausible monsters roaming around these specific areas, and it feels like they would live in these worlds. It does seem like all of this can be plausible, all of these things could work, and that it's naturally fitting into what this new game world is. And I think Wilds really does accomplish that. These are living creatures within the game, right? These are living, breathing creatures. They have their own cycles. They have their own special abilities or whatever. They thrive in their own specific climates when certain weather conditions are met. Some of them get buffs, some of them get debuffs and stuff, stuff like that. It really makes it feel like these things live here, and going with that ecological scientist approach to the story of the guild and the hunters. And why do they hunt? They hunt because sometimes some monsters are either killing too much of other monsters. They're harming the ecosystem in some way, and I like that type of approach.
I'd say the best way, me and my friends used to make jokes, in the previous Monster Hunters, it's like, oh yeah, we just play this game to commit mass genocide across any creature that walks this earth because we want to. But like in this game gives you a quote unquote valid reason to just keep exterminating this one species that keeps showing up in this area. And like in the story, like you said, the story doesn't, like, you really don't care for the story that much. And the story got real involved in this aspect because, like, every time you got to a monster, you were not allowed to touch the monster until Alma sat there and tell you that the guild authorizes this hunt.
Yeah.
And that was, like, one of my, like, favorite things about the game. And it was also one of the things I did not like when you got near the end game, when you went to go fight Zoshia and the guild didn't authorize that hunt.
Yeah.
And I like that aspect because then when you fight Zoshia, yeah, you beat Zoshia and everything, but since the guild didn't authorize it, you don't get to hunt that monster again.
Yeah.
So like, I feel like that's not going to be like the last time we get to like see that type of thing where like the guild is going to like control what the hunters do. And I don't know how to describe it. I like that the story involved into the hunting was that in depth.
Yeah. Yeah, there's actual reason than just wanting to turn this monster into pants, into a shirt, into pants or whatever. Because that's why I feel like the previous games, that's all that really matters. It's just like, hey, this game, this very intricate RPG, action RPG, is really just a fashion game, but you have to collect your materials. And therefore, to get cool materials, all you have to do is kill giant 10, 20 foot tall monsters. Easy, right?
I'm so glad that you're playing this game also as well, because I'm sad to say this, like, this is just the beginning. This like, a lot of the fans don't like how easy the game is, but granted, this game was also Wilds. I'm talking about Wilds, exactly. This game was made to like allow new players into the game easier than the last two games. And I love how easy the game is for newcomers. But once the expansion comes out or we start getting master rank, that's when things are going to get rough. And I hope that you're still into the game when the expansion comes out. Because that's when the game, to me personally, that's when the game gets good. That's when like you really feel like you have to know your weapon. You have to know the monsters. You have to know the environment around you. That's when you get like in depth into the game, more than just swinging a stick at a monster until it falls apart.
Right.
You get me?
Yeah, no, I do. And, you know, for the audience, we're recording this like before any of that masterclass stuff has been either announced or, you know, released. So take with what we say with a grain of salt, just because, you know, pre-recording stuff, right? But Chaz, I don't think this game is easy. So again, this is coming from a player whose first game is Monster Hunter Wilds. This is my first ever real try at a Monster Hunter game, and to me, I don't think it's easy. I think it's more accessible. It's easier to get into. It's a good introduction to the series because Monster Hunter Wilds takes all the best parts of all the previous games and combines it into one, and also takes it a step further while expanding certain things, right? So Monster Hunter, you know, they release a game every few years, and usually like half of these games are built upon doing new things, like new experimental mechanics or whatever, you know, like just brand new wacky ideas, throw it at the wall, see if it sticks. That's what like half of these games are. And the other half are taking what works and then fine-tuning and really trying to see like how we can make the overall experience better. That's how I see the rest of the series, right? Before Wilds. And I think Wilds is that culmination of all these things. So like when I say it's more accessible and easier to get into, not easy in difficulty. Now, I understand like the campaign is really a tutorial, right? Like that one meme with Cartman and like his friend saying like, you know, all right, we beat the game. What do we do now? And then Cartman's like, what do you mean? Now the game really starts. That's literally what happens, right? That's what happens with Monster Hunter Wilds. The campaign is just a tutorial for the high rank post game stuff, and that's fine. Like I don't have a problem with that, and that's a good, again, way to ease into it. But what I mean about accessibility is there's not a shit ton of information and menus and all that BS thrown at you in the first couple of hours. Now, as you progress through the progress through the campaign, you get to learn new things in digestible chunks. Whether it's learning how to use a sacred, whether it's just pure combat, whether it's how to track certain monsters down or whatever, all of this stuff gets introduced and explained as you go, and not just at the very beginning. Or just like, here, I'm gonna throw you into the middle of everything, figure it out. The menus are not too overwhelming, but like I think the menus is also a big thing that I still don't like in WoW. It's just like it's very hard to like get to the thing that you want to get to. I think not hard, but like it takes a minute, you know, even like in the middle of combat, you know, like you gotta cycle through some stuff if you want to like hit the right button or whatever. That's kind of an iffy spot, but like I feel like it's very hard for this game to really fine tune that, and I hope for the next game that's what Capcom figures out, you know. But yeah, I think overall combat can be challenging, especially if you're a newcomer, because I started off with dual blades, you know, and I'm only playing as dual blades, and I feel like with dual blades compared to any other weapons, I have more mobility, I have more freedom. I think I don't really have to commit to most of my attacks. The combos are simple. The speed rate of how I attack is pretty decent. It's pretty fast. Not the fastest, but it's pretty good. And it doesn't feel super clunky and janky. So again, I don't think the game is easy. I just think it's more accessible to newcomers, and that's what I think was missing from the previous entries.
You brought up something earlier, and it was about the menus, and you made me think about something that could be helpful.
Okay.
In the game is I'm starting, because believe it or not, how to describe this to you. I am a person who do not like using elements in games.
Elements?
At all. Elements. Like if the game will give you a boss to fight and it'll be weak to like fire.
Oh,
ice,
I see.
and all of that. Yeah, I've never been one of those who believe in, like I believe in it. I know it works, but I never
like you don't care to
use it.
Yeah, okay.
Like I will walk up on an ice monster and use an ice sword and just be like, "This is just what I'm using today. You have to deal with it."
Right.
But I know a lot of players who do enjoy like the elements, and they build around it and everything. And you say like getting through the menu is like it's like a consistent path you got to go through in order to get to one thing.
It's a chore. It's a chore navigating through the menu.
So I was thinking like the easiest thing that like Capcom can do is like when you're hunting a particular monster, because the game knows when you're hunting a certain monster, or it can just auto trigger to the monster you last swung on. And let's say like you're fighting a Engineth, for example, or Fogre Engineth, or any of the types, right?
Okay.
When you're fighting an Engineth, there should be like a, you know, on your, how to describe it, I don't want to call it a readout menu, but you can have it on your wheel.
Yeah.
Just like a monster manual book, and when you click that icon, it automatically opens that monster's page. Instead of you having to click all the way through it, and then you can just see all the elements the monster's weak to and everything.
But then there's dozens of monsters. You can't like have dozens of different entries on a wheel.
No, I'm saying like it tracks like what you're currently hunting. So like let's say if I'm hunting an Anjaneth and you're on the other map hunting a Odaragon, for example, right? When you click your button, it's going to automatically open to the Odaragon you're hunting.
Okay.
But for me, it's going to automatically open up to the Anjaneth that I'm hunting.
Right, sure.
That way, if I know I want a particular part, I have that menu right there real quick, especially when we have the utilization of having a sacred, which is like so useful.
Yeah, man.
The fact that we can do anything on this animal's back.
That's one of the highlights for me. Like I would hate, honestly, I love open world games. I do. I love Breath of the Wild. I love Tears of the Kingdom. I love The Witcher. But if I had to like run on foot to like every location I needed to go to in Monster Hunter Wilds, I would be one, bored, and two, I would find it very tedious, and I'd be very annoyed just because one, the game is like the map is pretty big, and two, like there's only so much you can do as you're walking, and if you're doing like if you're eating or if you're taking potions or whatever, you're either slowing down or you have to like come to a full stop. So that's annoying. But yeah, you're right. On the Sacred, it auto tracks where you're supposed to go. One, I get to enjoy the scenery, right? Because I don't have to pay attention on the directions. And two, like you said, you can do whatever you need to do to prep for this next phase of the fight on your Sacred. It's just so convenient. And that's like one of the big things about this game, how like it streamlines so many things and it adds a lot of cool stuff, a lot of cool new things to be convenient for the players.
If you ever had to walk, but let me tell you how in the world that was our life. That was
I know, and that sucks. See, like it doesn't sound fun to me. It slows and bogs the entire experience down. And I get to an certain extent, like, yeah, this is Monster Hunter. You are a hunter. You need to like put in the work to hunt the monsters. I get it from that aspect. But again, from a casual player who just wants to have fun, if I'm not having fun with a core mechanic system of the game, one, that could just be a me problem, or two, then the game itself just isn't fun and not implementing what it wants to do in a good way, I think. So I don't really know like what to really think about that. I just know that what all these things that are implemented in Wilds that maybe other people don't like, maybe hardcore fans of the original games don't like how streamlined it is because they're like, oh, everything's too easy. It's just like I don't have to put in any effort. Okay. But like, is that really a problem? You don't have to use the Sacred. You can just walk if you really wanted to. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I don't know. I think I'm talking out of my ass because, again, I don't know all that much other than what I've experienced.
I say experience the walking method, and what do you call it? Rise had a riding. It's called a palamute. Is a dog.
Yeah, the dog. It's cute. Yeah.
Yeah, but my palamute, my guiding system did not work on him, so I consistently had to guide him. I don't know if it was just like a me thing.
Right.
I didn't know how to use the palamute correctly, or they just didn't have one. So like, imagine like you're trying to like guide your way through a map. You can only take certain paths, but you're also trying to take potions, sharpen yourself. Like it's still extra work you have to do. But with the Sacred, literally, I just click up on the D-pad and I'm good to go to start popping potions, sharpening my sword.
You can gather resources with your hook shot as you're riding too.
That too.
Like it just makes everything it makes it better.
It does. It generally does. Because another big part of the game when you first start is resources.
Yes.
You need resources.
You need a shit ton.
Health potions. Oh my God.
And I don't want to be spending an hour and a half scavenging the entirety of like the forest or the desert before I even start a mission. And like if I don't have enough money to buy all the things at the shop, you know, like that doesn't seem fun to me. Now, with the Sacred, I can like make it go to like, that's another cool thing about the map that I like, that everything shows up there, like every monster, every creature, every collectible. You can just have it home in to every item you want it to go. As you're going, you're also picking up other resources along the way. It makes everything much more simple.
And you just reminded me of something. So in every Monster Hunter, we have that one person we don't like.
Yeah.
So in the world, it was the handler. Everybody knows who I'm talking about. And Rise, I can't remember who it was in Rise. There was nobody like I strongly disliked. But in this one, I was really about to put so much bad juju on his name, but actually he's good for one thing right now. And it's Nata, and he sits at your camp and he collects resources for you while you're hunting.
Well, he's not a handler though.
No, he's not a handler.
He's just an NPC.
But like, yeah, he's just an NPC, but oh my God. Remember in the story, I wanted to fight this kid.
He's an annoying little shit. So let me ask you then, in previous games, was the handler like a problem at all in any way? Like, were they just annoying, or like what was the issue there?
The handler, which her name was Handler.
Very creative.
For her. In World, I want to be realistic with it, but I might be end up being a little over dramatic just because of the hatred. So forgive me, but she was useless. Like her, like most cutscenes and interactions you have with her, she got in situations she didn't need to be getting into because she was somewhere where she didn't need to be. Like, outside of the camp, it is dangerous because monsters roam the area, correct?
Right.
And you know that only certain people are allowed to be hunters because only they have the strength to handle monsters.
Right.
So, who you think should be allowed out in the open world by themselves?
The hunters.
Anybody else should be out there?
No.
Explain to me why my handler is out there, one of the most dangerous creatures in the world, because she was picking fruits. On the other side of the map, nowhere near a camp.
So I'm assuming, again, because I haven't played them, in Worlds or Rise, your handler will get themselves in sticky situations, and that's how, air quotes, story progresses, and that's how new monsters get introduced.
Yes.
Okay.
I didn't experience any of that, and I don't remember experiencing any of that in Rise. So it was solely just in World.
In World, okay.
Was a problem, and like, don't get me wrong, the handler job technically it is important. It is her job to collect information on monsters, like their weaknesses, like your whole logbook on the monsters, like schematics and everything.
Right.
She tracks it all. How many monsters you hunted, their sizes, where they come from. It was her job to track it all and make sure you have it at a moment's notice.
Right.
The handler in World just did all of that, including get herself in trouble. And then her favorite thing to say, which don't get me wrong, it's fine if you say it once or twice, but whenever we beat a monster who is like a very large problem, she like to come up to you and say, "We did it." No, we did not do it. No, you were not part of combat at all. Like, at least Alma, like when you're hunting in this game, you know who's right there behind you? Alma is right there in combat with you. She may not be swinging a weapon, but she's right there from damage. Dude, like when I tell you, it baffled me my first time hearing Alma. Like, I was swinging, and all I heard is, "You got this," and I was like, "Who is speaking right now?" And I looked over, and she was just right there on her sacred. I was like, "Oh my god,
I have someone supporting me for once." And she also collects items sometimes, so even more useful.
Yeah, you hear it just say, "Oh, I grabbed this for you for later," and you're just like, "What?"
Yeah.
And then you just see a bunch of stuff just enter your inventory, and you're like, I accept. I needed that, honey. I'm not gonna tell you no."
Yeah.
And like, Alma is my favorite handler so far. She is absolutely amazing. She's in combat. She collects for you, and she also does all the natural job a hunter, or not a hunter, but a handler should do. And I love that. And then she's also like very much involved in the story. I don't know if you noticed, but like,
oh yeah,
you did very little negotiating and talking in the story. You're just like the not the Menace to Society, but you're just like,
you're just a hired muscle
person just standing there, just like, tell me to slay it and I will.
Yeah, just point me at a monster. If you want me to kill it, I'll kill it. That's the only role you play. You're just a hired muscle, while Alma does like the negotiations with like the other tribes or whatever, and like building relationships and all that cool stuff. And she's the one actually learning and doing the research for like the ecological studies of this new world or whatever, this new region or whatever. Like, you're just there for protection. You're not the main character here, man.
No. And then, like, the moment you slay a monster, the moment it hits the ground, if you look at the monster, there's Alma right there, like, kneeling down with her notepad going crazy already. Yep. It's like, she wastes no time and effort.
I think overall, like I said, like, this game was fun. I had, again, as a first-time enjoyer of this, I had a lot of fun, even through the story. We played together, multiplayer, right, through, like, post-game stuff. You helped me get to, like, the high ranks, right, and, starting to fight tempered monsters and all that stuff. And the difficulty does ramp up a lot, but I never felt like a specific monster was, like, too out of my league, if that makes sense. Like, I always felt like if I'm able to fight it, I can come out winning on the other end.
I said there's only been two monsters that I would say that have pushed me. Arc-Timbered Raddal, which is such a fun monster.
Oh yeah.
And as you can guess from like the regular, Arc-Timbered is worse than Tempered.
Yes.
So for him, it was like any attack 2 times, just 2 hits in a row, can basically just end your life.
He'll 2-tap you?
So you get hit once, you need to figure out what you need to do to get out of there alive.
Right.
And then the next one was Tempered Mizusune. Forgive me if I pronounced that wrong. I don't know if you remember that one.
Yeah, it's the bubble dragon, right?
Yes.
Dude,
such a gorgeous dragon too.
That's probably I think those two are my favorite. Like actually, like those two monsters are my favorite in this game.
Those two are your favorite?
In design, yeah. So like this is a conversation I don't really understand when it comes to Monster Hunter. About like this is my favorite monster to fight. I don't quite understand that, but I think I have my favorites in design and like how they look like, and yeah, that bubble dragon and Raydao are so freaking cool, dude.
So I don't know about Raydao. But Mitsuzune, I think is an absolutely gorgeous dragon. Raydao just upset me too much for me to show him love. That's all it is. I can't. You can't show me a picture of Raydao and I don't want to punch it.
Really?
Just natural instincts. Yeah, like he's not a terrible monster to fight at all either. He's just how to describe it to you. Okay, I run a longsword, and it is achievable. But in my playstyle, the way I use a longsword, I try to like use counters as much as possible.
Right.
But I cannot figure out the amount of counters I need to counter his stuff when he swings at me one time, and then there's 3 extra bolts of lightning following after. Like I can dodge one, counter the second, possibly counter the third, but then like the 4th or 5th, 6th, 7th hit from the lightning that's on the ground, I cannot.
Right.
And so it just keeps pinging me for damage. And then before I know it, my health is at half, and I'm just like, this is annoying. And which is like, it's fine. That's his mechanic. That's where he works, and I'm glad he works that way. Like, if they gave me the opportunity to change Raydao's movesets, I would not. I will leave it as is because I think that's perfect. That he uses the lightning in the environment around him the way he does.
Yeah.
And like his crystal area makes him even more dangerous when it comes to lightning.
Yeah, and I think most of the monsters use their environment while battling, and I think that's really cool. That's a neat touch. And I'm sure like that's said for like any other Monster Hunter game too.
Yes. And then Mizune, like I said, gorgeous dragon, but he brings a weird new mechanic that like nobody's like ready for. Like, cause like when you play a game, do you ever think of like a bubble blight? That's what he puts on you, a bubble blight.
I don't remember what it does.
So bubble blight makes you like, think about like bubbles, like the little liquid that you like, the toys you get, right?
Yeah.
It's slippery and stuff, right?
Yeah.
You struggle to stand. You struggle to block. It makes you like struggle to operate. Like you can still operate, but like it's a struggle to it. And then you also take a little bit more damage. And then sometimes these bubbles, if you see the red ones, they do explosive damage. So they just like they blow up on you.
Yeah.
So I found that very cool. And it's just like I said, like you've been sitting here playing this game and you've been dealing with water blight, fire blight, ice with the stamina.
Right.
Like the regular elements, and then somebody just comes and hits you with bubbles, and you're just like, what?
Yeah, it doesn't fit into like the natural water stuff. It's like a whole new status effect.
And he's like he's the only monster I've met with bubble blight. He's unique in that aspect.
Yeah.
And for my monster design, my favorite too, because my monster design goes with the monster and the armor that comes out with them.
Oh, that's fair.
It would be Zoshia and Gormagala. Gormagala, just for the black and purple misty look. I love Gormagala's fight style, by the way, because he uses like a frenzied blight, which lets you take more damage. And the unique thing about Gormagala is he's blind.
Right.
Which is, I gotta look up lore on him on how the hell he can fight us.
Right.
It can't see, but he is more accurate than any creature I've met on this Wilds game. For me, it's like he never misses a shot.
Mm-hmm.
But like I love that about him. And then like he used like a dark smoke. It's just like a cool eminence, one of those words.
Right.
And then for Zoshia, I love Zoshia's like the fighting mechanic, and you can't tell me like you can't look at me and tell me like this is the biggest, baddest creature, and I'm not gonna want to make it a pair of boots and a weapon. There's no possible way. Like you do that in any game, and you look at my hunter and be like, you see that over there? Don't fight it. It's big and bad, and it's the worst thing here. My hunter is gonna be like, okay, we're gonna show who's the top of the food chain here, and it's gonna be me, and I'm gonna go over there, and it's gonna be that simple. And my favorite thing about his mechanic is that he has an outer shelling that's white, but when you break it and it all comes off, he's a black monster.
Yeah.
With lightning and even more firepower. So I was like, this is cool. This is like, it was so aesthetically nice to watch him like shed all of that extra armor he had. Even though I know I need to move most times, but I just be so like in trance watching it that I will admit most times if you find like the line or the wall of lightning and fire, I am at the edge of it watching as close as I can be.
Yeah, Zoshia is a really cool. I think I really do like the design as well. I think of course Zoshia is one of the hardest monsters to fight in the game. I mean, obviously because it's like the final one, right? Gormagala is pretty tough too, but I think the ones that I really hate fighting is the new Udra and the Hirabami. New Udra, just because like I feel it's annoying and there's just so much going on with all the tentacles. Not that it's tough, it's just like it's annoying to deal with it all. But the Hirabamis, I hate it so much, mainly because I wield dual blades, but this thing is like flying all the time and barely low into the ground, so it's like out of reach for the majority of the time I'm fighting for, and it's just annoying to deal with.
I feel that drastically. That is the worst thing ever as a player who uses a weapon on the ground, and as a non-ranged and a non-aerial combat hunter, yeah, that is like our worst thing in the world. Like, oh, how dare you go up there, come down here and fight like a man? Like, what?
Yeah.
So like, I definitely understand how those two you do not like. For me, who would be the worst ones to fight? I don't have okay. The monkey, the Blangonga. That is the snow mountain monkey.
Uh-huh.
I don't like him. He's just very small and he moves a lot. So like with me using my weapons, constantly chasing him down, it's not fun.
With your slow ass heavy weapons?
Not all my weapons are slow. Yeah, all my weapons are slow. But
see, I have no problem with him because I'm like dashing into him, man, with my dual blades. I'm Attack on Titan every monster. I'm letting it rip on every monster because I am a human Beyblade.
And then the other monster I do not like is the guy Piqueros.
Oh yeah, the one that plays dead and like it has the flash head thing.
Yes.
Yeah, that's annoying too. It sucks.
As long as you knew what I was trying to say.
Yeah. That guy. That's like really tedious one to fight.
So like he's annoying because he does like the paralysis blight, the poison blight, the flashing, and then he plays dead. It's like, dude,
I like the playing dead mechanic.
Come on. I
think that's fun. That's like the least thing to worry about, compared to the other two things.
It is, but like it's annoying when you just want to finish the fight. And like I remember my first time fighting him, right? Like we killed him, but like when you finish it, you get the timer, the cutscene, and everything.
Yeah.
But I remember him dying, and I was like, something's not right. And then I was like, I will admit, I'm one of those players who keeps swinging when the monster's dead. I don't know why I'm like this. I don't know what makes me like this, but I keep swinging. And I kept swinging, and I was still getting numbers. And I was like, this doesn't make sense. Like, why is it, huh? Like, why am I getting, it's dead in front of me as we speak. And then it rose, and I was like, cool, that's why. It played dead. And I will give it to Capcom for almost fooling me because I almost walked away from it.
Yeah, no, I get it. I think it's a good mechanic. I think it's fun. I feel like I'm glad that's the only one that does that, but I would not be surprised if they added more monsters in the future that does that as well, because it's a unique thing. Like that's the only monster that does that mechanic, and I think it's fun. Now we played quite a bit of the game, like I mentioned before, multiplayer, and my experience playing this game multiplayer to playing it solo is so vastly different. And I think you can agree that like it's so much more fun, and not only fun but kind of easier playing this game with multiple people than just playing by yourself.
Absolutely. The not having the monsters aggroed 200% of the time is absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
It allows me to like, I'm one of those players who like using different weapons. So like when I do my solo runs, I will admit I only use a longsword. Because if I'm going to have 100% of aggro, I want something I can use defensively and still attack with.
You don't call like the NPCs for backup?
Negative. No. What? No.
Wow.
You been calling NPCs?
Yes. Yes. I don't have the PlayStation Online service all the time. So yeah, like when I didn't have that before we started playing together, that's what I would like, use, because like there's nothing else. That's what I mean when it's like vastly different. Like if you're playing solo just by yourself, at a certain point, like all these fights can be like devastating, I think, especially with like Jin Dahad, a giant ass ice dragon or whatever. Like that is not fun to take on by yourself, and then it becomes very frustrating. But when you have NPCs taking that aggro, like you said, then okay, now I can just focus on getting more of the weak points and just focusing on that, yes. So I am not ashamed to say that I called NPC squads for help.
Well, I wasn't calling shame to you. This is your first Monster Hunter, so by all means, use all the resources you're given. But I want you to understand that I did not have such resources before, and now I feel uncomfortable with those resources next to me.
Uh-huh. So wait, you couldn't do that in the previous games?
No.
So it would just be you solo versus the monster in previous games?
Yes, and even when they had arena fights, and when there was 3 monsters in one arena, and you went in there by yourself, it was a 3v1.
The only ways you can have other players is if other players actually join through online.
Yes.
That's brutal.
Yes.
Oh my God. I'm so glad. The more I find out about this series of what has come before, the more glad I am that I started with Wilds, just because it's like, so again, I think that's like one of the key points that we've been making this episode. Like so much of it has been redesigned or refined for that easy access, to make it more accessible for newer players. God, that sounds terrible, dude.
Believe it or not, I can see how that sounds terrible, but when you've gotten used to it, it's just like you accept. Like, there's nothing in this world you can put in front of me in this game, and I'm going to be like, oh no, I don't have a party with me. I'm going to just sit here and be like, oh no, it has to die today.
See, I think that type of thinking mainly works with like Souls-like games, Soulsborns. But this is Monster Hunter. This isn't that. I mean, like, you can't say, yeah, it's Monster Hunter is also like Dark Souls or in Bloodborne, where it's just you fighting a giant monster. Good luck. But like, I don't like that. I mean, honestly, now that I'm thinking about it and saying it out loud, there's a lot of similarities. Both games, like your attack is very slow and clunky. The controls are not great in all these games. The monsters and the enemies, the bosses have a giant health pool. They do a lot of damage. Your healing is very limited. You know what? There's a lot of similarities now that I'm thinking about it, from Monster Hunter games to Soulsborns. Ooh.
Oh, forgive me. There is in Rise, they did allow you to bring one or two people with you.
Wow.
But I didn't use that back then either. And then in World, the first one I played, against one of my favorite fights of all times, I pray to God you never have to meet this dragon. His name is Fatalis.
Is that the jet engine dragon?
No, that's Crimson Valstrac. That's the one I bought a Switch, bought the game, and bought the expansion for. all for one monster, and that was the monster. I went, made him a t-shirt, wore him again, made him another t-shirt, made more weapons out of him. If I had a kill count on him, I probably shouldn't ever show it online. It was very bad. But in world against Fatalis, which is the worst black dragon I've ever went against, because he can one tap you at any given moment if you slip up once. Like, he was one of those monsters, which I can't wait for the monster to get in wilds for this. But like, the monsters' movesets have names. We would call out the movesets.
Okay.
Because it was a required thing for survival.
Okay.
And I love that aspect to the point where you have to communicate with your team that much. And in this fight, when you first fight them, you have a NPC with a heavy bowgun who's in the fight with you just for the first phase. That was the first time we got assistance fighting in the world. And how to describe it to you? Once he's gone, that's it. Because he gets hurt during that cutscene, and then like they come, your handler, your lovely handler who's always there for you, says, no, you have to stay and kill it, as she takes the friend who was helping you away because he got hurt. And so like, yeah, I looked at the Black Dragon Fatalis alone and had to slay it. Like, it's so like a measly like Arkveld or a Rathian, forgive me, or any chicken with his tail on fire does not frighten me anymore. And having the idea of NPCs also just bothers me now, because now I've lived my playstyle when I fight alone to like change my playstyle accordingly to the people I either play with or by myself.
That's interesting. See, I think something I love about you, man, is like you have a unique way of playing video games. And this is a prime example, you know, like you can be given all the mechanics, all the tips, all the tricks. You can learn all the combos of a thing, but you're like, you know what? No, I'm just going to limit myself as much as possible because that's how I want to play. First of all, you should always play video games the way you want. And I'm talking to you, the audience. Play the games the way you want them. As long as you're having fun, that's all that matters. Back to you, Chaz. I think that is very admirable. And two, how I see it, I'm like, you know what, man? You're crazy. Because for me, if I can cheese my way out of a fight, I will. Like if I can just spam the same combo against like a tough boss, you better believe that's what I'm going to do. That's what I did with Devil May Cry. That's how I got through all 5 games, man. I just spammed the same attack until I won, you know? But you take it a step further, man, and I have to applaud you.
I want to say thank you. I want to tell you the worst thing I've done. I called it the wheel of something, but like I came up with a wheel on my phone, and what the wheel will decide is it'll say armor, no armor, weapon, no weapon, and then the wheel will have a monster on it as well. And like the worst we've ever done is that dragon. That's our hardest one to fight in the game. We went into that fight with no armor, and we were not allowed to use weapons or bring palicos. So we were sitting there shooting rocks at it.
Wow, that sucks.
And crafting barrel bombs and throwing it. Because we're allowed to use like the resources of the environment. So you can have your weapon have a skill you need for like making bombs do more damage. But that was like the dumbest thing we ever did. And God, dear God, that was dreadful. Running for our lives. Because honestly, just like a simple like AoE attack that dealt like the slightest damage to you with no armor on. Like, think about it, you're weaker than you were in low rank going against the top master rank dragon. Yeah, it was just, you had to go untouched. We did not kill him that way, by the way. We did not.
And that reminds me of like you mentioned like all these things you have to craft, like the barrels and stuff. There's traps, right? I still haven't used any of that. I've still never have experience or experimented with using all of that, because that's another thing about Monster Hunter, right? There's just so much of everything to experience and to experiment with. There's so many combinations of weapons and armors. There's so many monsters. Of course, it's a lot of quests, but you know, there's just so many intricate things and systems that you can really dive into, like I mentioned before, and like get lost in it before you even start a fight. And like, I don't even know. Like, one thing, you don't even have to do any of that to really enjoy the game, and two, you have the option. Again, I like having the option to in case I cared, but I don't. So therefore, it doesn't have to matter. I don't like it when games are like, hey, here's this giant intricate system. You have to use it. For one aspect, I'm like, okay, cool. You're teaching me things. You're challenging me. Cool. But also, I like the option of just like, let me play the way I want to play.
You're absolutely correct. And like, do you remember earlier when I told you like, I have a certain way I play with certain people I play with?
Yep.
So like, I have these friends named Rye and Icy, and they love using the resources around them, like the slinger pods, the boulders, the traps that are like laying around and everything, and barrel bombs and all that. They craft all that. They use everything they can against the monster, and I love that because most times it's actually very helpful. I just don't put any energy for it, but I know when I play with them, oh, this monster's on lockdown. Like, because one thing they hate for sure, I know they hate. They say they hate it. Is when a monster runs away when it starts limping. It is terrifying to watch these two go at it when the monster starts limping. I start praying for the monster because at this point he needs to get away. It's going to get worse because the moment a skull shows up, you see shock traps start coming out.
Yeah.
You see random explosions from barrel bombs. You start seeing flash pods so the monster can't fly or run away because it can't see where it's going. It's depressing to just sit there and be like, I did come here to kill you, but now I feel like you're the one who needs saving.
And I've noticed that you play different with me too. Like while I was just starting like my post game stuff, like on my road to high rank, that weren't you equipping like lower level gear while playing with me?
Absolutely, because I don't believe in ruining the game for people. Like, I fought this monster at the difficulty that the monster was like supposed to be at my level. Now, yes, it's great that you can bring me into a fight with you, but if you wanted me to cheese your monster, you would say cheese my monster.
Yeah.
But you didn't say that.
I did not.
You said I can join you for the hunt. So that's exactly what I did. I lowered my armor. I lowered my weapon. Or not lowered it, but I went and recrafted things so they can be at your level. Like, I still have the build that says Jared for when we last played. That way is at your level. That way we're not like cheesing through anything.
Right.
And I rather be there and you get the full effect of the fight instead of me killing a monster and you don't even get to see what it looks like in like phase 2 or 3.
Right.
Because I just went and whacked it with my big pogo stick and now doesn't know how to look forward anymore.
And I do appreciate that. You know, you're letting me fully experience this game. And like, you know, that's something that I've come to like about this entire series where like, yeah, the community around it is pretty great, regardless of not being able to do that in the past, you know, party up with other people. Doing it now in Wilds, I think compared to a lot of other online communities, I don't think I've seen much more supporting type of a community because like from what I have seen online, there are a lot of people like trying to help out newcomers or whatever of like explaining how certain mechanics work, what do you need to do to get certain items, to get certain crafting material for certain pieces of armor or weapons or whatever. You know, like there's a lot of, from what I have seen, there's a lot of helping each other. And also, of course, that goes into actually doing the quests with each other. And I like that.
I wish you can play with more people or like play with more of my friend group whenever you get the online thing again.
Yeah.
And I want you to see like how like you can, it's terrifying on how easily you can look now and look at a player, watch them fight and be like, okay, that's his play style. I'm not going to mess with that side of the monster because he needs that side.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know for like, you met Scooby before.
I have.
Scooby uses Charge Blade. He really relies on doing impact damage to the monster in order to knock it out for KO damage. But my weapon, it's a long sword. So I have very wide sweeps in which I can stagger him and mess up his play style. So now I know when I play with him, me and him need to be on two separate sides of the monsters. I need to be breaking parts on one side while he's knocking it out on the other. Keeping it like the crowd control, basically.
Right.
Or there's like this bow player. Bows, as you know, they're just like the arrows. They don't do a lot of damage, but they rely highly on the weak points that you make. Like, you know, the weak points you like using.
Yep.
The reason I don't touch your weak points is because you enjoy them. That is your fun play. So, like, why would I go and ruin your play style? Because I don't need them. Like, you get me?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, they benefit me, but like, I have other ways of getting what I need. You would not do your Attack on Titan Beyblade, a Spin of Death, without those weak points. And then I can't reach the back, but since you can like go all the way across the back, why would I ruin that for you? You can break the wings.
And we all still benefit from that, because if I break the weak points, everybody still gets like the parts from that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's highly enjoyed, and that's the way I play my play style. It's like, who needs what? And then I personally will compensate to them because I'm more of a flexible player than that. Because what I rely on personally is the monster's aggro. The more monster aggro I have, the like better for me, because I can use my counters to increase my damage.
Right.
Now, if I have the monster's aggro, I'll get my counters. The other players are breaking parts. The other person's getting the weak points that they need. The other person's doing the stugger that they need. And I can break parts on the other side of the body once I lose the aggro for like the next 2 minutes.
Right, right.
And it's just like a constant flow I've gotten with everybody. Like, everybody I play with, I see their play style, I adapt to their play style. Even like greatsword players, they don't get staggered or anything, but they love, like, their attacks are very slow. So they hate when the monster moves around. So why would I run away from my greatsword player?
Right.
When I'm healing or I'm sharpening my sword, what I'll do is I look at my greatsword player, and if he's charging his weapon, I'm gonna go sit there and sharpen my sword behind his back. Because I know the moment he's done charging that weapon, if the monster's in his face, he's knocking it out.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I have no doubt about it that my back is saved when this monster comes over here to mess with this greatsword player.
And speaking of great swords, so collaborations from Monster Hunter with other video game properties is you know, not a secret or whatever. Like, for us as a recording, we recently had the Street Fighter collaboration with Akuma, like him having his own fighting style and stuff, right? Is it still confirmed about the Final Fantasy crossover? Do you know that?
No, I know nothing of the Final Fantasy crossover, but I still hope that whatever that creature was that people said they are so afraid of, that he brought stars down on Earth. Bahamut, yes, him. I want him to exist. Yeah. Why? Simply because I think his shoes would look real good on me. Yeah.
I think that's the real hook to the game, people. If you want, again, it's like, this game isn't about actually hunting monsters. It's a fashion game. It's a fashion show type of game. You need certain specific style pants or shirts. Go kill these giant monsters and make them yourself and become the most fashionable hunter of all the lands. That's what this game's about. But back to the Final Fantasy bit, I hope that becomes a thing, mainly because, like, you know, it's really cool that we got like costumes for Street Fighter, even the handlers, right? Even Alma got like a Chun-Li and a Cammy costume. That's super cool. As the player, you got like the Akuma costume. Super freaking cool. I hope that if they do a Final Fantasy one, for one, if Alma dresses up as, you know, Tifa, Aerith, Sid, even Barrett, you know, like any of those cool costumes, that'll be cool. But if the player with the great sword or whatever, great long sword or whatever it's called, if that can be changed into the Buster Sword and Cloud's outfit, oh my god, that's the only thing that would get me to switch from dual blades into something else.
I wouldn't blame you for that. I hope they do that. By the simple fact, I love when they bring like new weapon looks as well. That's like one of my favorite things about when new monsters come out. I'm like, all right, new monster comes out, new fit style comes out, new weapons come out, new skills come out. So like everything, it's like, I don't know, new monster comes out, to me it's a whole new game to play. I don't know how to describe it. My mind just works that way. It's like, yay me. And for the Bahamut dude, I'm so intrigued. Like, if he's as strong as everybody says he is, Bahamut, usually the stronger the monster, the better the armor. The better the armor, the better the skills. And I really enjoy new skills that we didn't get to see in the previous games.
Right. And that's like the constant loop, right? The harder the monster, the better the equipment.
Yep.
That you can use to fight even harder monsters.
Yep, absolutely. It's a never-ending cycle that I enjoy.
Now I have
psychopathic as that sounds, I love it.
Yeah, and my question about that, it's like I think it got a little bit boring for me. So because I kept playing even through high rank, like even when I got to the point where like everything in the game is accessible for me, I kept playing because I wanted to get specific equipment, right? Specific swords or armor or whatever, whatever. And then I got that, and I'm like, okay, I'm good now. What makes you keep playing?
Wanting to get everything.
Everything.
So I have every longsword build. Even if I don't need it, I have it built.
Okay.
Armor, I'm in the process of doing that. It's very hard to get pieces sometimes.
Yeah.
I need to get all the charms, and then there's always jewels I've never had before. With the mix and match, because they have the level 3 jewels that have like
see that shit, like I haven't really dabbled in that, so I'm like, I don't know what this is. I understand they're augments and buffs, but like I'm like, I don't know how to get more. Go ahead.
You just keep hunting monsters, so like those will come to you naturally. It's just those are complete RNG. There's no better way to farm this type of jewels or anything. Like you have the Elder Melder, but she doesn't guarantee anything you looking like. She doesn't guarantee any of the harder jewels you're looking for. The 1 slot, 2 slots, easy to get. The 3 slots, I think there's like 1 or 2 or 3 in there. But then like the mix and match jewel slots where it'll be like attack buff along with a crit buff all in the same jewel.
Right.
Very hard to come by. And I want all of that just so when the new monster comes out, I'm not sitting there looking at the monster and be like, oh, I wish I had this. Oh, I wish I had that. The new monster comes out, it's like, oh, you strong? Who decided that? That's just the way I see it.
And I get that. Just collecting all the armor pieces, all the weapon pieces. And first of all, that is a lot, and it's crazy, especially maxing it all out. But like, it just general curiosity. It doesn't get boring fighting the same monsters over and over and over again.
No, it just pisses you off. It just pisses you off to the point where like you learn the monster's moveset to the point where like you can ask Scoob. He sat there, watch me fight a monster, and I'll look away because I know what the monster is doing and continue the fight because I just know it that well.
Right.
Because it's just like, why am I still fighting you? Because you won't give me the 1 jewel I need or the 1 part of the body that I need. Because once again, everything that comes off the monster, nothing is 100% guaranteed.
Yeah.
So you're consistently fighting to get that part. Once you get the part and you're done with the monster, obviously I'm not fighting again unless like I need the part again for a different reason. But that's what keeps me going. And then if I finish all of that, like I did recently, I'll take a break. And then they dropped 2 new monsters last week. And now I'm farming those monsters, weapons and armor. I finished 1 monster. It took me a total of 21 kills.
Wow.
To get it.
Yeah.
And I am now 6 kills into the second monster and only have 1 part.
Right.
There's a total of 6 or 7 that I need, if you count in the charms.
Right. I mean, that just shows how different we are because, I got, like I said, after I got the thing I need, I'm like, okay, I'm good, man. I'm good for now. Unless unless new monsters come in, which is like, brand new experience, brand new quests and stuff like that. Just very interesting. Like you are in it for the grind.
And you also only use 1 weapon.
I only use 1 weapon.
I use whatever you put in my hand.
Right.
So like whenever like I want to like play with a different weapon and I haven't touched it since like low rank, I gotta go build a high rank one. And then that's also what keeps me in the game is like I don't know any weapon 100% because I have never like sat there and like used a weapon and only that weapon. I touch a weapon, I like it, I enjoy it, I move on to the next weapon. Like yesterday, I was using heavy bowgun.
Right.
Heavy bowgun hasn't seen me since World. I didn't even touch it in Sunbreak. So it's just that's what keeps me going. I play with different weapons because you have different interactions. Because like you don't have a shield with I meant with the dual blades, right?
No.
There's a thing called shield bashing.
Yeah.
Is that I don't know if you ever seen me do it when I run a lance or anything with you.
Yeah, I've seen it.
It's just me and a monster, just like I'm holding him off of my shield, and I'm stabbing him at the same time.
Yeah.
It's a little cool interaction that goes on. And then using other weapons, when you play with other people, you can see why they're fighting the way they fight. I just try to have an open mind. And the best way to have an open mind is by putting yourself in somebody else's shoes.
Yeah, and that's a good way to think about it. Well, to bring this Rathalos down for a landing, I want to pick your brain about one last question. I just want to ask you one last question.
He knows how to touch the ground?
He should.
Takes a couple flash pots to bring that one down.
So this might be completely outdated by the time this episode comes out, but what monsters do you hope come back from previous games?
Sad to say. I want Fatalis back.
I want to fight him. He looks cool as hell.
I want to fight Fatalis, and I want to fight Crimson Valstrax again.
Uh-huh.
I like a one-tap monster and a monster that moves at the speed of light because it has jet engine for wings. He doesn't slap him. He just throws the energy at the back of his wings. It's absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
And then I have a very, very terrible record with the evil pickle. His name is Devil Joe.
Mm-hmm.
My friends banned me from hunting that monster for a while.
Why?
That's how bad it got. That's how much I hunted him. like we would be mid-hunt for something we needed, or like something that the game came out with. We'd be mid-hunt, and they realize they go from 4 people hunting one monster to 3. And I'm on the other side of the map hunting down the Devil Joe that just appeared.
What's your beef?
I don't know why I have beef with him. Like, the sad thing, like, a little Devil Joe lore for you. Devil Joe is dying, and he's forever hungry.
Okay.
Because he's dying. So, like, he's gonna eventually cripple over and die in, like, the next 4 days. But he's pissed off all the time, and he ruins everything. And I guess that's what pissed me off about him. Because no matter what, you're sitting there in the fight, and then all you know, there's a Johnny Iguana that got thrown at you, and you look at the other side, and it's just the evil pickle just sitting there breathing dragon, like the little dragon element everywhere, and you're just like, why are you doing this to me? And I guess he upset me enough to the point where I put him and every subspecies of him on a t-shirt, to the point where my friends banned me from hunting him. I was not allowed into maps where Devil Joe existed.
But it's an act of mercy then.
To his kind? That was my group's act of mercy.
No. I'm saying, like, you are putting the evil pickle down as an act of mercy.
If you can call it that.
Yeah.
If you want to call it that.
Yeah.
But I was everything but nice to that creature.
So you want that back and the jet engine. Got it.
And Fatalis. Those 3. Those would be my 3.
Gotcha. Okay. I can't really answer the question because, again, I don't know. I don't have any affinity to previous monsters because I haven't played the games. So, yeah.
Well, I hope you enjoy this one, and best believe I will be calling you back, like the Avengers Assemble type of thing, when the expansion comes out.
Hell yeah, man.
And you're going to grind with us. You're not going to fall behind.
Yeah, okay. I think I'm, like, currently, as of recording, I'm, like, late 60s, early 70s.
That's caught up enough. You got access to the entire game.
Yeah.
But when the expansion comes out, I want you to be like with us while we go through the expansion storyline.
Oh yeah, I'm down, man. I'm there. Whenever that is, I'm there, man. Final thoughts on Monster in the Wilds, at least for now. We can always come back to this topic, but like, you know, like I know this is one of your favorite video game franchises, and I'm this is something that, again, one of the biggest parts of this show is, us showing each other new things that we wouldn't experience otherwise. You did that with me, right? Because, again, never played Monster Hunter, never had a care to play. You love it. So I'm like, you know what? Let me see what this is all about. Here's a new game. Let me try it. I really like it. Like, it's not going to be like, I'll be honest, it's not one of my top 10 favorite games or whatever, but I'm super happy that I got it. Like, I got started into this series. I can say that I fully played through a Monster Hunter game. Chaz, remember when I beat this game in less than 24 hours? Like the campaign? Even though I understand it's a tutorial, it's not that big of an accomplishment, but I did it within 24 hours, which is still saying something, I think, because like I didn't want to put the controller down. I had a great time
to finish it. Yes.
Yeah, I wanted to finish it, and like so, like that's one of the beauty. That's part of the beauty of this show, and what I love that we do is that we expose each other to new things, and you know, I'm just glad that we got to have this opportunity to really discuss one of your favorite games, because now it's like one of the games that I really enjoyed.
And I hope you do continue to enjoy it. And I just want to make sure I heard correctly. Buster Sword equals you using Greatsword?
Yes.
Understood.
Or the long one, the giant freaking sword.
Yeah, I'm aware of the Buster Sword.
Okay.
I just want to make sure.
I'll do it. If that's in the game, then I'm going to do it.
All right.
It probably already is. We don't know.
The moment I find out, just know you're done for.
Okay. That's fine.
You're gonna join the cult.
So final thoughts on Monster Hunter Wilds, Chaz?
No, that is everything. I absolutely love this game compared to the last two, and I hope Capcom continues to improve.
All right, that's all the time we have for today, guys. Thank you so much for joining us on another episode of the Razzle Dazzle Show. Be sure to let us know what you think about this episode somewhere on the internet. Follow us on our socials and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Be sure to rate us 5 stars and leave a comment down below. We'll catch you on the next one.
Next time on the Razzle Dazzle Show.
Every character requires a different piece of myself. So like Malim Nava is what I call like the chaos gremlin. You know, she's fun, she's wild, right? I love voicing Malim. I love getting to bring that kind of childish energy to a character. But then you have someone like Voiko who had a really hard childhood. Her story is so sad, and as someone who had a pretty tough childhood of my own, there are parts of Voiko that I really identify with, but obviously Voiko requires something different from me than Malim. And so I always tell people that it's hard to pick just one, because it's like asking which part of myself do I love the most. And the truth is through lots of therapy, I love all the pieces of myself, even the broken pieces, the sad pieces, the happy pieces. So it's impossible for me to actually be like just that character, because they all have a little part of me in them that I identify with, that I bring to that character, that I hope resonates with viewers and things like that.
Tune in next week